qualifies to talk to me about the FTC and internet marketing is I didn't grow up a techie. 1996, I was in law school in Michigan. I'm an attorney. I practiced for 8 weeks and then left because I was doing mortgage foreclosures. And I used to go to court every day in a suit and tie and throw people out of their houses. So when I was in law school, I was able to take one elective class, which was the law of cyberspace, had that aha moment, and in 1997 I launched LazyStudents.com, and I had to find ways to drive traffic to it. Before Google, GoTo.com, penny a click, and really drove the business. Over the past 10 years, I took the company from myself to 60 plus people, and we were on the Inc. list of fastest growing companies in 2007 and 2008.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Sold the company in 2007 to Steve Rosenberg, former president of NBC Universal Television, and still running the company. What's amazing, while I practiced for 8 weeks and keep my CLE current to keep my parents happy, what I've learned, and as you may or may not know, anyone not familiar with the FTC ruling coming out? Everyone's familiar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, 1980, so it's been almost 30 years that they're changing the guides for endorsing and testimonials and advertising. So what they essentially want, in a nutshell, is if you're blogging, tweeting, talking about a product or a service, you have to do full disclosure. Now, we all want honesty.
What's full disclosure?
Full disclosure is like we work with Lauren Hutton. So if I say that Lauren Hutton's wrinkle remover actually works, that Andrew can't say it because I may not be using the product. So you have to say that we work for Lauren Hutton, and as a Lauren Hutton vendor, we are promoting Aquapress. Or if it's Brothers MFC 640 printer, we have to say that with 20-pound paper and the authentic, genuine ink, it prints properly. So you have to be transparent. Now the law, which is actually going to affect December 1, they just made this announcement October 5th. It's really, in my opinion, as with the opinion of the IAB, Internet Advertising Bureau, that these are punitive and really more pressure on online businesses than offline businesses. I just read recently, like Hardee's has this supermodel sitting on the front steps eating a bacon thunder burger. Who's tracking her to see if she's actually really eating it? And that wasn't even filmed. They don't even have a Hardee's in New York, but it makes you think that it's in New York. And how many Buick Rendezvous do you think Tiger Woods drives around in every day? How come he's not saying anything? So it's kind of like what's good for one has to be good for the other. So you also have First Amendment issues when they're taking one law and applying it differently to two different parties. You're definitely going to have First Amendment issues. So that's something that's very, very concerning. And being that I'm in the search business, our clients now want to pull the stop on spending money because they don't want to get sued. There's an $11,000 fine for each offense.
So how do we avoid all this?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, we haven't figured it out yet, but what's interesting is this is just the FTC, so it only applies to the United States. What happens if people are blogging, tweeting overseas? There's jurisdiction issues. How are they going to get a judgment against somebody in Bulgaria and bring them into court?
I'm leaving.
And leaving, right. So there's a lot of issues that come up. And I think one quote from the gentleman from the IAB that I thought was pretty powerful is, the internet is the cheapest, most widely accessible communication medium ever invented. And now it has less freedom than any other medium. So it's the cheapest, easiest way to get out there, and they're making things not fair to online as what they're doing to offline.
Wow.
So I think it's a very powerful thing that's happening. I suspect that there will be change as we go forward.
What's your Twitter name?
It's at Andrew Hazen, and H-A-Z-E-N, first name Andrew. I'm actually speaking tomorrow night at Hofstra. I speak once a semester at the business school, and it's great. So I thank you for your time, and if anyone has a quick question on the FTC, well.
Don't you think in a way, though, this might actually the rules might make it stronger and give more credibility to American internet blogging as opposed to other forms of advertising?
At a 30,000-foot macro view, yes, but how are they going to police it, and then the enforcement, and then how do you really know when they can set up Google alerts or Twitter alerts all day long to track and follow the conversations. I just think policing it is physically impossible.
But that'll be their headache.
That will be their headache.
That'll be their headache.
But that also might stigma the United States for trying, what's next? What's going to happen as we talk about this next media, and you're putting out albums, and you're doing shows. Who's going to allow you to get your true opinion out? People are afraid. If you do a recipe, you take a picture of it, you tweet it, everything else, and you didn't get permission from that recipe company, they might sue you. Now they are saying it's pay per post, so if you're not getting paid, you don't have that risk, but most people don't even know that.
Yeah.
So.
Don't you think there's going to be a variety of precedents set here? For instance, if I'm a blogger, I am a blogger, and I put somewhere in my blog my disclaimer. Yes, General Electric pays me. And so it sits there. And in my Twitter profile page, I list people who pay me, General Electric, blah, 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 blah. The question is, who reads that? It's really the fine print, and won't the fine print be what rises to the top? And I might also add that it's important to say that in this moment, this is one of the changes we can believe in that we need to be very worried about. Well, you know, how much is this transparency, or is this actually ganging up on the online?
I think it's both, and transparency is good, but ganging up is obviously something that we're not looking forward to.
I think it goes both ways in what you're saying, because it's really that these companies are trying to create this consumer-to-consumer based marketing, so it feels like somebody's just turning you on.
Yeah, we have a whole staff. We have 12 people all day long just tweeting.
It goes both ways, because at one point you don't want to censor it necessarily, but at the same time, you're kind of, it's
right, but some companies are transparent. So,
yeah.
you know, working with Lucille Roberts, if someone says I went to the gym in Brooklyn and it's stuff, you know, smells, we need to come back as the company, transparent, and say we're cleaning up, we're painting it, and then you have that validity.
Can I just say that I'm taking a very different standpoint from this, and I'm sitting next to Melanie Knopf, I think has followed most of these rules very, very well and very effectively before the rules existed. But one of the things that study after study has shown is that one thing that people find very effective is that they believe that if Joe Blow says this, I have an authentic personal relationship with Joe Blow. I think we only help ourselves by being truly authentic. And I certainly don't think, oh, well, so I don't remember the name of the yogurt company, but this yogurt company has paid Melanie. Yoplait has paid Melanie, and now I actually feel I trust Melanie. Whereas on the other hand, if I found out a month later that they paid her, well, no, I don't trust anything Melanie says. I think in many ways these things serve us.
But it's not that obvious, because when you go to a hotel review, a restaurant review, you don't know if it's who's posting the positive comments.
Well, I think that's a good point.
Absolutely.
That's one of those things that gets
Last question.
part of.
I don't know.
Again, a different perspective on this. Fashion bloggers in general are very pissed off with this because fashion magazines get a lot of samples and a lot of products for free. And then fashion bloggers...
Which I think is okay. If you say you're getting free product and you're writing a review, if you write a bad review, you may not get free product from that company again.
Exactly. So,
but you're being honest.
But magazines don't disclose that they're getting free product.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. Really, thank you.